Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me once again for Get Your Money Right with Ivonne. I'm Ivonne. How's it going? So, we want to make sure to start this by always asking you, how are you doing? How are you feeling? We'll get to a point where we can have that back and forth conversation, but I always want to start these with just kind of honoring whatever's going on with you. And just know we don't have the exact same challenges, the same struggles, obviously, but we all have been there, sort of, right? We all can feel what's going on, and just know, please, you are not alone. Okay, we just want to honor everybody's challenges. So, not a whole lot new with me. I'm upping my game with the student loans as much as I possibly can. I'm paying those down because I want to be able to focus 100% on retirement. And I can do both, obviously, but right now the main focus has to be for me to get that all paid off. So, working on that, and that's a good thing, and all is right with the world, okay? So, what have I been reading this week? So, a couple of stories. And we always think that people who have more money than us don't have the same challenges, but I saw two stories. It was like, wait a minute, look over here, look over here. It's the exact same thing. Okay, so let's kind of talk about that. So, there were two investors. One woman at 67 years of age, she retired at 63. At 67, she's run out of money. And just, we want to look at what might have happened so it doesn't happen to us, And that's the thing. Whatever we hear about, how do we avoid it for ourselves, right? So there's that one investor. And then the other one is a woman, I think she was 52 years old, and the story was she really does not enjoy her job anymore and is looking for a way to get out. She was asking money managers, okay, 52, she has a $2 million retirement fund, and she's wondering if she can retire. So here is the thing. Both of these people, well, we'll call, Mary who's 67 and has run out of money, and Diane, we'll just call her Diane, we're making up names, has $2 million and wondering, can she retire? Okay, both of these investors are asking the wrong question. You can do anything you want, right? But have you set yourself up for success? Okay, and here is the thing to remember. The Custodian is the company that you are using to put your retirement funds into, okay? Their job is to protect your funds and the record keeping that's involved with this IRS sanctioned account, right? That's what they do. You know the names of these big companies that we put our money into. And so that's their function, okay? Protect and record keeping. And the other is the financial planner. The financial planner sets you down and starts to ask you questions about your life. How much money will you need in retirement? Okay? They'll back that up. How much are you spending now determines what you're going to need in retirement. And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, when I retire, my expenses are going to go down. Okay, really? How do you figure that? They don't. Now, let me just kind of throw this out as an example. My house, we've been in it nearly 30 years, less than that, but somewhere in that range, right? And when we bought it, we stretched to be able to buy it for $149,000, right? That's what it cost almost 30 years ago. However, if you're looking in this neighborhood now, this same house will be $450,000. It's just a reality. Things go up. as do your expenses, your utilities, your food. Everything goes up. It doesn't stay the same or go down just because you've retired, right? None of that. You just have to remember expenses change. And so that financial planner is going to say, okay, how much do you believe you will need? And, bump that number up because expenses go up. And let's work from that. Okay, so how much will you need? Now that we've determined how much you're going to need, how much do you have? And how much is there to go through the next 30 to 40 years of retirement, right? So the first lady, Mary, she had a nice nest egg. She had $100,000 in her 401k. What she never factored in was how much of that can she use? I mean, you look at $100,000 and it looks like a lot of money, doesn't it? Yeah, well, not unless you really look at what you're going to need. So her Social Security was about $2,000 a month. And she took about $200,000 a month from her 401k. So that money only lasted her about 50 months. So a little better than 4 years. So had she planned her retirement, the expenses, what she was going to need, she would have known and would not have put herself in that position of running out of money. Okay, that's what happened. And at 67 years old, now she's got to see about another source of income because she obviously can't make it anymore. Okay, that is Mary's scenario. Now with Diane, the question at 52 years of age is, can she retire? Well, like we said, you can do any number of things you want to. Now let's figure out what you would need to pay your expenses. Okay, and at $2 million, her dividends average between 7 and 10%, that she's earned on this $2 million. Okay, so if you're getting let's just say 7% on a regular basis, but you opt to take 5% of your retirement account each year. So like, what are we talking about? 5%, what's that, $100,000? Check my math, see if I'm right on that, but I think that's what it comes out to be. So $100,000. So Diane, made up name, if you had $100,000 coming in, now you're not eligible for Social Security yet. If you have a pension, if you're eligible for that, you can factor it in, but that $100,000 a year, will that cover your expenses? That's the question you need to ask. What do I need? Okay, so will that $100,000 last you for the next, 35, 40 years? Then great, then you can see about retiring if that's what you choose to do. But just ask that question. What do you need? How much do you need in retirement? And will your sources of income cover that? Okay, those are the things to be aware of. And I'll just tell you, so one of my new subscribers reached out and she was so pleased to have a partner to help her through this retirement quagmire, okay? Because that's essentially what it is if you're not careful. Just having put that plan together, right? And she said, oh, I have a partner. I'm so happy about this. And she kept talking, and I'm like, wait a minute. Who is she working with? Because it's not a financial planner. She said it was the person at her custodian at that company, and they were just so nice. They were so helpful. They were answering her questions and guiding her, which is wonderful. The only thing is, remember, it's their job to help you acquire, to accumulate those funds, keep it safe, and record keeping. But if you turn around and ask them now, how much do I need in retirement? They're not going to have an answer for you because that is not their focus. The focus would be with a financial planner who can work with you on what you will need going into retirement. So if you've learned nothing else today, remember, Custodian, that's the company you put your 401k money into, and they're helping to keep it safe. They will answer your questions. They want you to combine your funds into that account because, quite truthfully, the more money in their portfolio, the more money they make. Okay, it's just how it works. It's okay. Everybody's got to make money. That's fine. But just remember, custodian, they keep it safe. But do you have a financial planner? Somebody who can work with you to have an income into your retirement and making sure that you don't run out of money. So I am chatting with the subscriber who reached out to me, and just keep in mind it's great you're accumulating that money, but that person is not qualified or even equipped to really answer your questions about money into retirement. So just keep that in mind. Now, the custodian that I have, it was difficult to find, but I did find it. And that's when the light bulb went on for me about income going into the future. I found something, I couldn't even begin to tell you how I found it, but what it suggested I do is put all of my sources of income into it. And it also, well, it had my 401k balance because they are my custodian. So all the money that I can expect to receive goes in there, and it shows how much I can take out each month and not run out of money. Well, at some point, I suppose it's possible to run out of money, but to do the best you can to make sure that money's going to last me until 35, 40 years. So I'm just so thankful that I found that. And you might not be able to locate it, and that's why we're talking, because we just want you to have information. We just want you to have what you need to make the best decisions for you. Okay, so with that, because we want to keep this short and sweet, you guys are busy people, we're all busy, we want to get you back, but just a little bit of information for you that you can use to get yourself ready for retirement. Okay, so with that, we are going to end Get Your Money Right with Ivonne. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.